All right, students. So good evening, everyone. I welcome you all on behalf of THiNC Institute of Design. Again, as per our, confirmation, just give me a quick response in the chat box. I hope I'm very clearly audible and visible to all the participants, and we can straight away get started with today's session. So here we are with this third session in this series where we are revising the JEE B.Arch mathematics for your examination. So let's get straight away started with the session for the day. Give me a quick confirmation in the chat box, students. I hope I'm very clearly audible and visible to all the participants. And here we are. I'm straight away starting the screen and will resume with the session, resume with the question which I have assigned you previously as an assignment. So I hope you all must have remembered that we had discussed this question. Rather, I had shown this question to you, and I requested you all to attempt it, and then we were supposed to solve this in today's session. That's exactly where we are. So let's get started with this session, with this question, students. And yes, we did discuss few things related to this question, and I hope and assume that you all must have tried solving this question. And if you have done it, do write your answers in the chat box. I'll be really happy and glad if you could tell me what is the right answer or what is your answer. Okay. Let's go ahead with my explanation for this question. How will I proceed with this question? Please understand. It says there is an ellipse, right? Now, when it says that there is an ellipse, I hope you all know the basics of ellipse. So this is clearly coordinate geometry they are discussing. There is an ellipse. So this kind of an ellipse, it could be. Now, have a look at this question, students. The ellipse is x squared by 9 plus y squared by 4 is equal to 1. Now, what does it mean? When you look at it, it is x squared by 9, which means x squared by 3 square plus y square by 4, which can be treated as y square by 2 square is equal to 1. From here, if you relate it, if you compare it, okay, Adi, hi everyone. So if you relate it with the standard ellipse equation goes like x square by a square plus y square by b square is equal to 1. Here, this a gives you the idea of the major axis, b gives you the idea of the minor axis. So with that, if you compare it with that, I hope you all have gotten the idea that the value of a is going to be 3, the value of b is going to be 2, which means, first of all, without any hesitation, the picture should be clear in our brain that this point is going to be 3 comma 0, this point is going to be 0 comma 2, this point will be minus 3 comma 0, and here this point should be 0 comma minus 2. Now what do we have next? Please pay attention, everyone. It says let SP comma Q be a point in the first quadrant. So there is a point in the first quadrant. I hope you all know what is the first quadrant, such that P square by 9 plus Q square by 4 is greater than 1. I hope you know that this ellipse basically divides XY plane into 3 regions. One of the regions is inside the ellipse, the other region is on the ellipse, and the third region is outside the ellipse. Now, when you say that there is a point P comma Q, which satisfies the inequation that P square by 9 plus Q square by 4 is greater than 1. So I hope we all know when it is equal to 1, it lies on the ellipse. When it is less than 1, it lies inside the ellipse. And when it says that it is greater than 1, it clearly lies outside the ellipse. So two things I know for sure. What are those two things, students? A, that this point S lies in the first quadrant, and second, that this point S lies out of the ellipse. Now, please understand, the only region, the only place where I can locate S will be this. So I'll place S somewhere, but let me go through the more data. Now, what does it say? Two tangents are drawn from S to the ellipse. Now, whenever somebody says that two tangents are drawn from S to the ellipse, it is irrelevant to have this data. Please understand, two tangents to this ellipse can be drawn from outside only. So I hope you're getting this idea. This point does not any sense. I hope you're realizing that. Now, when there's a point, what you're doing is you are drawing two tangents from S to the ellipse. Now look at this data, of which one meets the ellipse at one endpoint of the minor axis. Now, please understand, that's another very crucial information which we have received is that one of the tangents meets the ellipse at the extreme of the minor axis. I hope this is how it could have happened. What about the other tangent, students? Other meets the ellipse at point T in the fourth quadrant. So let's say this is the second, tangent, and this meets the ellipse like that. So I hope these are the 2 points. I hope you are very clear on this. This here is going to be the point S, which is having the coordinates P comma Q. It has met the ellipse, the minor axis of the ellipse, just like that. I hope you all are very clear on this. And the other tangent meets the ellipse at point T in the fourth quadrant. So this is your point T, which is happening to be in the fourth quadrant. So I hope there is no confusion so far, and we are very clear on whatever is said. Students, just give me a quick response in the chat box. Everything, whatever I've explained so far, is it very well understood by everyone? Now, please pay attention to the next data, next information we are given to us, which we are given. Now, it says, let R be the vertex of the ellipse with positive x coordinate and O be the center of the ellipse. So I hope you all know the center of the ellipse is going to be the origin here. And this 3, 0 is said to be the point R. What they now try to make you understand is, let the area of the triangle ORT is 3 by 2. Now, what is the area or what is the triangle? So if you look at the triangle here is ORT. So this is the triangle which they all are trying to talk about. I hope you all must have noticed that this is the triangle. Okay, let me just draw this line because there is very less space here. So this is going to be that triangle ORT. I hope you must have noticed. So these are the points over here. I hope there is no confusion. This is your point R, this was your point O, and that's the point T. I hope there is no confusion, students. Shall I proceed further from here? Now pay attention to the data. See, what can I say about this point T? I hope you all are noticing and understanding. Do you all know that whenever there is an ellipse and there is a standard ellipse, then any random point on this ellipse can be taken as A cos theta, comma B sin theta. Now, I hope you all know that this is the parametric form of any point randomly taken on the ellipse. I hope you all can verify it by yourself that, A cos theta when you put here and B sin theta when you put here, A square gets cancelled by this A square, B square gets cancelled by this B square, and cos square theta plus sin square theta satisfies the condition which is required here. So I hope you all understand that A cos theta comma B sin theta can be taken as a point here. So the coordinates of T, I'm assuming as A cos theta, comma B sin theta. I hope you all are able to understand this comfortably. Just give me a second, everyone. Now, what do I have next here is, please pay attention. This is all what we need to know, and the question will be solved in 2 minutes if you know these many basics very clearly. And this is something which you all should be aware of if you have studied ellipse. Now, what it says next is, when it says that the triangle ORT has the area 3 by 2, what can I conclude from here? I have this triangle ORT, right? ORT, this triangle over here. I hope you all can pay attention to this. Now, if I draw it somewhere else and to take you through from like this here, so this is your point O, this is your point R, and that's your point T. O is basically origin 0, 0. R is nothing but 3, 0. And the coordinates of T we have assumed as A cos theta, comma B sin theta. I hope you all are getting it very clearly. Now, do you all not think that if I apply this logic, that area of a triangle is base into height? So I'm considering this as the height of the triangle and this length as the base of the triangle. I hope I have very clear idea that the base is going to be nothing but 3, because from 0, 0, 3, 0 is 3 units distance away. What about the height? Since we already know that since this point T lies in the first quadrant, A cos theta will have a positive value and B sin theta will have a negative value. So I'm taking it as minus B sin theta. So I'm not concerned about that part. And now I have ensured that B sin theta will be a positive value because I have put a negative sign before it. I hope you are able to digest my statement very clearly. There is no confusion on that. I repeat my statement. I am taking T in the fourth quadrant. It will be A cos theta, comma B sin theta. Although, okay, will there be a live for NIFT today? I think our team from THiNC administration will respond to this comment. I'll continue with the session. So what I'm trying to make you all understand is, as far as mathematics is considered, you need not bother about this sign. However, theta takes care of it. But still, what you all need to understand is, if I know that it is in the fourth quadrant, I'm deliberately putting this negative sign here. so that I can ensure that B sin theta stays positive. Now, if B sin theta stays positive, I can take the height of the triangle as B sin theta. Why am I saying so, students? Because this is going to be the height, which is the y coordinate of t, because this is nothing but what? X-axis. So from x-axis, this is going to be the height of the triangle, because this point also happens to be the y coordinate of the point t. Along with that, if this much information is understood by you all, I'll continue further with my discussion that we know that area of the triangle is half. Base, what is base? 3. And what is height? Height is b sine theta. And we are given that the area of the triangle is 3 by 2, right, students? So if the area of the triangle is 3 by 2, I think we have a lot of things here. What information do we have from here? I think 3 gets cancelled by this 3, 2 gets cancelled by this 2. Now, what about B? If you all must have noticed, A was 3 and B was 2. So instead of A cos theta and B sin theta, I should have taken it as, I hope you all are realizing, I should have taken it as 3 cos theta and B sin theta means what? 2 sin theta. So here, instead of B, I could or should have taken it as here. That information I hope you all are comfortably understanding. 3 cos theta, comma minus 2 sin theta. And the height should have been 2 sin theta. So here, instead of B, I could have used 2. So if I simplify this, I get the value of sin theta as 1 by 2. From here, can I not say that theta is going to be 30 degree, which is pi by 6? Did you all understand this part, students, that how did I get the value of theta? Now, if I could crack the value of theta as pi by 6, let me replace that value here. Why am I doing it? I'll tell you that later, but let's do it first. When theta is pi by 6, what does it mean? So cos 30 degree is root 3 by 2. So this coordinate will be 3 root 3 by 2. Here, sin theta is clearly 1 by 2. Sin 6, sin 30 degrees basically we are talking about. So this point is going to be 1. So this is the point, or this is the coordinate of t. Now, had they asked you, what are the going to be the coordinates of t? This could have been the answer and the question would have ended here. But that's the problem here. They are not asking the coordinates of t. They are unfortunately asking you the coordinates of s. Now, how do we figure that out? Let's come to the final part of this question. Do you all realize and understand that this tangent, which we have drawn from S to this ellipse, which touches this ellipse on the minor x-axis, do you all not think that this tangent will be parallel to the x-axis? This is pure common sense. I hope you all must have been able to understand. If it touches here, it can only when it is parallel to the x-axis. I hope you all get my point very clearly. Now, if it is parallel to x-axis, if it has y coordinate as 2, do you not think its x coordinate, I don't know what is going to be, but its y coordinate is going to be 2. So far, what I know about the point S is that its y coordinate is going to be 2, although I need to figure out its x coordinate. So far, without any calculation, I could have come to a conclusion that the answer is going to be either A or B, because in option C and D, the y coordinate is given to be 1. I hope you all are realizing and understanding this part comfortably. Now comes the more crucial part. Now, how do I do that? Please understand. You have an ellipse, right? The ellipse is x square by a square plus y square by b square is equal to 1. Now, let's say on this ellipse, there is a point. The coordinates of the point are x1 comma y1, and you draw a tangent here. Now, how do you write the equation of the tangent? So mathematically, there is a standard method that you write its t, which you put equal to 0, and that gives you the equation of the tangent to this curve. That's the standard method of doing it. Although you can differentiate it, you can find the slope of that tangent, then you can write the equation of that tangent. That method is also valid, but I will request that you remember this standard technique which says t is equal to 0. What is the meaning of t is equal to 0? So when you place t is equal to 0, it says that x square should be replaced by xx1 and y square should be replaced by yy1. That's all so far. Now, in that case, the equation of the tangent is going to be xx1 by a square plus y square will get replaced by yy1 divided by b square is equal to 1. And that gives you the equation of the tangent to this curve. Now, as far as this ellipse is considered, it has 3 root 2 by 2 comma 1. So the point here is the x1 and y1 are going to be 3 root 2. Sorry. The points are 3 root 3 by 2 comma 1. So that is the point you're dealing with. And the equation of the ellipse is x square by 9 plus y square by 4 is equal to 1. Let me just verify it once so that we don't commit any error. Yes, great. Now, how do I write the equation of the tangent to this ellipse? That's a very simple process, students. X square will get replaced by x1. So it is going to be x. What is x1? 3 root 3 divided by 2 whole divided by 9. I hope you're getting it very clearly. Plus y1. So y it will be y. y1 is 1. So I need not write that one specifically or explicitly, which is equal to 1. So that gives you the equation of the tangent. So this is the equation of the tangent. I hope you all are getting this very clearly. Now, I know that this point S, this is the point S from where I have drawn this tangent. So shall I say, if I'm writing the equation of the tangent ST, the coordinates of S, which is P comma 2, must satisfy that equation. So P comma 2, if I place here, I think I'll get the value of P basically. So P comma 2 will satisfy this equation. So I'll put P here, 2 here, and I'll get the final answer. So when you finally solve this, I hope this part can be skipped by me at least. So when you finally solve this equation, the value of P you receive as is nothing but 3 root 3. So on that basis, finally, the option which can be marked as option A and option B will be incorrect because 4 root 3 is not what you'll be getting. So I hope there is no confusion on this. You all have understood it very clearly that how should you attempt this question, how should you categorize it, how should you float the entire data. So questions are simple, questions are easy. This has taken a lot of time because I have tried taking you through all the basics. So doing just one question covers a lot of concepts. I mean, what is an ellipse? How do you take the major axis? How do you take the minor axis? How an arbitrary point is taken on an ellipse with the parametric constants? How do you write the equation of the tangent? So all that information is being covered in this question. So a really good question, a comprehensive one, which covers a lot of details directly or indirectly. Along with that, I'm very, delighted to share one more information, students, with you all that THiNC Institute of Design has launched its classroom online coaching program for B.Arch aspirants. That, yes, Adhi is saying, can I get annotated notes? Definitely, Adhi. After the session, the link to the annotated notes will be given to you in the chat box only, in the link to the description of the video as well. So don't bother about that. Our team will definitely share the link to the notes as well. So don't worry about that. Now, I hope you all are aware that for all the B.Arch, NATA and JEE B.Arch aspirants, we have started a crash course, a crash batch, which is definitely starting from 3rd of February. For any query, concerns, or inquiries if you have, you can definitely contact us on this given number 8086 111 044. So it is for all the 12th going students and anyone who has taken drop to, take admission in NATA or JBR course. We have definitely this program through which we'll definitely try to excel your preparation. With that, let me continue with our next question for the day. It is again a very interesting one, and I'll be really happy if some of you could try and get the answer here. Okay, so I think Adhi, I think the link is posted right there in the chat box. You can go through that. So once the session gets over, I'll be giving this PDF and they'll definitely provide you the notes. So don't worry about that. Again, I hope you all can see this question right there on the screen, and I request all the participants to read it, go through it, and then we shall be discussing it together. So go through it, students, and I hope some of you could definitely try solving this. A very easy question if you know the basics. When you start reading this question, something which should strike your brain is that this is something related to theory of equations. So uh, the process should narrow down to boiling all the concepts of theory of equations. Although something else might be required, but that is something we'll figure out while solving the question. Now, what all we given? We are told that f of x is x to the power 4 plus ax cube plus bx square plus c. That is f of x, right? Now, we are also told that f of 1 is minus 9. If f of 1 happens to be minus 9, I think what I can do is I can replace x by 1. So when you replace x by 1, what you get is minus 9 is equal to 1 plus a plus b plus c. So from here, first of all, I can very easily conclude that a plus b plus c is going to be, I think my system has, I hope I'm very clearly audible and visible to all the participants. Can you all hear me properly, students? Just give me a quick response, everyone. Okay, I think we are going great. So I'll continue with this part where I'm saying that from here, I can conclude that A plus B plus C is equal to minus 10. Thank you, Adi. Great. Now, so this is something we have concluded with this information. So you just read the data and keep fetching all what is needed. Now, second information. Suppose iota times root 3 is the root of the equation 4x cube plus 3ax square plus 2bx. I hope you must have realized what they're trying to give you here is where iota represents under root over minus 1. So iota is your imaginary number. Now look at that. If I find f dash x, I repeat, if I find f dash x, what is it going to be? It is going to be 4x cube plus 3ax square plus 2bx and c being constant will become 0, and which coincidentally or luckily matches with this. I hope you all are comfortably understand this. Now pay attention to this part. This is more interesting. It says that this cubic equation has a root which is iota times root 3. If you all know that, I hope you all know this, that if this cubic equation has three roots, which are, let's say, alpha, beta, and gamma, out of which one of the roots is given as iota times root 3, I can undoubtedly or unhesitatingly say that the other root is going to be minus iota times root 3. And the third root is going to be a real root, because the number of imaginary roots are always even, which means they come in pair, they are always conjugate. So if one of the roots is iota root 3, the other root will be minus iota root 3. Since it has power 3, which means it will have total 3 roots, out of which 2 are imaginary ones. So the third root is going to be a real root. By common sense also, you could have concluded that 4x cube plus 3ax square plus 2bx is equal to 0 when you try to work out. In order to find its solution or its roots, what you do is you take x common. So when you take x common, it is going to be 4x square plus 3ax plus 2b is equal to 0. So I hope you all are realizing that one of the real roots is going to be x is equal to 0. That can very easily be concluded from here. And the other two roots will come here from this quadratic equation. So what is the quadratic equation we are dealing with here? The quadratic equation is 4x square plus 3ax plus 2b. That's the quadratic equation. And the two roots of this quadratic equation are iota root 3 and minus iota root 3. Some students, if they are clear with the concepts of quadratic equation, can very easily conclude. But if you're not aware of the concepts, I hope you know that if this is alpha, this is beta, sum of the roots and product of the roots is what I'll talk about. So sum of the roots is alpha plus beta, which is going to be minus b upon a. In this case, it is going to be minus 3a upon 4, which is going to be iota root 3 minus iota root 3, which is 0. So from here, I can very easily conclude that the value of a is going to be 0. That's our first conclusion for the day. When you talk about the second conclusion, the product of the roots, so alpha beta, that is c upon a. So in this case, it is going to be 2b by 4, which is iota root 3 into minus iota root 3, that is minus iota square. Iota square is minus 1, so minus of minus 1 is plus 1. Root 3 into root 3 is 3, 3 into 1 is 3. So from here, if you can conclude 2 by 4 is 1 by 2, so b by 2 is 3, which means b is 6. So I know that a is 0 and b is 6. I hope there is no confusion. If I know that A is 0 and B is 6, can I place those values here? So I know that A is 0, B is 6. So I hope from here, I can crack the value of C as well. So what do I get? When you place or take that 6 on the other side, you get the value of C as minus 16. So first of all, I have the values C as minus 16. So if I start writing this equation, how will I write it like? See, I'll just check these values. A we have received as 0. Okay, so when A is 0, I hope this part is very well solved here. So the equation looks like x to the power 4. A is 0, which means I need not bother about this part. B happens to be 6. So the other part is going to be 6x square plus C is 16, or rather minus 16. So minus 16 is equal to 0. So that's your f of x. Now, what it says is that alpha 1 to alpha 4 are the roots of this equation. Okay, so that's a biquadratic equation now, and I hope you know how to solve a biquadratic equation. Let me just take you through this. If you are getting confused with this biquadratic equation, it is not very tough or difficult. First of all, it's very simple. All you need to understand is try to think of it like a quadratic equation. If you are getting confused, I'll try to make it easy for you. Let's say x square is equal to t. Now, what does it say? It says x to the power 4 can be treated as t square, 6x square can be treated as 6t minus 16. I hope you know how to use the splitting the middle term method to solve the quadratic equation. So idea is very simple. You split 6 in such a manner that the sum should be plus 6 and product should be minus 16, which gives me the idea that it should be treated like t square plus, I think, 8t minus 2t minus 16, because the sum of 8 and minus 2 is 6 and the product of 8 and minus 2 is minus 16. That is exactly what we needed. So from here, I hope you all can see that I'll tell you a standard method. One of the values of t is going to be this coefficient here, 8, negative of it, which is minus 8, divided by coefficient of t square, which will give you minus 8. The other value of t you will receive is negative of this coefficient here, which is minus of minus 2, which is 2, divided by coefficient of t square, which is 1, so it is going to be 2. Or if you didn't understand this, what you all could have done is you could simply, solve this quadratic equation, which you all are comfortable in doing. So if this part is very well understood by all of you, this is not what we were supposed to figure out. What we all were supposed to figure out was something else, something different. What was that? We were not dealing with t, we were dealing with an equation in x. So t is t, but t is actually x square. So x square is minus 8 from here and x square is 2 from here. I hope you all are getting it clearly. So from here, I hope you all know x square is minus 8, which means x gives you square root over minus 8. So plus minus square root of minus 8. And from here, the other value of x will be plus minus square root over 2. So here I can take alpha 1 as under root over minus 8. I'll not write it the way iota thing and all. I'll just keep it like this. Alpha 2 can be negative of under root over minus 8, because basically what we are asked is mod of square of. So you need not bother about mod, because when you are squaring, it will, oh, okay, so they are imaginary numbers, so I'll take the mod as well. So the best part is, okay, I'll just write it and show it to you, because you might get confused if I solve it right now. And alpha 4 is going to be negative of root 2. So what they are trying to have you is, you take the modulus of these roots and then you take the square of them. So when you take the modulus of these numbers, I hope you know how to do that. All you need to do is square them and take the modulus. So square of minus 8, and when you take modulus of it, it is going to be 8. I hope you know that. Square of again minus 8, negative sign I hope will get cancelled. When you take mod of it, it will be 8. When you square this part, it will be 2. When you square this part, it will be 2. So 16 plus 4 gives you 20. That is the square of the modulus of all the roots alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, and alpha 4. So that's what I'm trying to give you or tell you, that see, x square we have received as minus 8. So if I put a mod sign over here, it will become plus 8. If I put a mod sign here, it will become plus 2. So basically, plus 8 2 times, plus 2 2 times, plus 8 2 times 16, plus 2 2 times 4. 16 plus 4 would have been 20. So without even doing all this, you could have directly answered your question from here only, if you are aware of what is asked. So I hope there is no confusion so far in this question as well. And you all have understood this also very much comfortably. So basically, in this series of JEE B.Arch mathematics revision sessions, I have tried giving you the idea that cracking the mathematics section is not tough. It is very easy. All you need to have is understanding of the basic questions, fetching the right questions, selecting the appropriate question, not trying to solve all the questions in the given time, rather rejecting the tougher ones or the moderate ones and picking up the easier ones, the ones which you all are comfortable with, and try to solve those 5 to 6 questions only first of all. Of course, once you have done these easier ones, then only you should go for the moderate ones and then the tougher ones. That should be the strategy while attempting the question paper. Along with that, I hope you have gotten the clarity that THiNC Institute of Design, the classroom and online coaching, has launched its crash batch for B.Arch entrance, NATA and JEE B.Arch. It is starting on 3rd of February. For any queries or concerns, you can contact us on this given number 8086 111 044. It is definitely for all the students who are appearing in 12th standard, or even those who have completed and targeting NATA or JEE B.Arch examination. So I wish you all the very best. Some of you might have started attempting JEE paper 1 or paper 2, of course. Some of you might having this lined up. So keep attempting, keep interacting, and keep sharing your stories with us on our platform. With that, I'm really glad that I could help you with your preparation. And let's say I think it's sufficient for the day. So here we are calling it the day. Thank you so much, students. You have been a great audience. Thank you, everyone.